Love, Chunibyo and Other Delusions, also known as Ka-2 for short, is a Japanese light novel series written by Torako, with illustrations provided by Nozomi Oesaka. The work won an honorable mention in the Kyoto Animation Award competition in 2010, leading the company to assume its publication starting in June 2011. A 12-episode anime adaptation by Kyoto Animation aired in Japan between October 4 and December 19, 2012, with 6 6-minute light episodes streamed on YouTube. The anime is licensed by Sentai Filmworks for release in North America. An animated film was released in September 2013, and a second anime season, Love, Chunibyo and Other Delusions Heartthrob, aired between January and March 2014. Plot: Yata Tagashi is a boy who, during junior high school, suffered from Chunibyo, believing that he possesses supernatural powers and dubbing himself the Dark Flame Master, therefore alienating himself from his classmates. Finding his past embarrassing, Yata attempts to start off high school where he does not know anyone, free from his old delusions. This proves to be difficult, however, as a delusional girl in his class, Rika Takanashi, learns of Yata's past and becomes interested in him. As the plot progresses, Rika becomes more attached to Yata, who, despite finding her delusions irritating and embarrassing, accepts her. He helps Rika with a number of things, including founding and maintaining her club and tutoring her. When he joins her on her summer vacation, Yata learns that 2 years prior, Rika's father, whom she was very close to, died unexpectedly due to a terminal illness, causing her to fall into her delusions. After Yata agrees to help Rika search for the ethereal horizon, which she believes will lead her to her father, she becomes romantically interested in him and vice versa. Characters: Yata Tagashi, voiced by Jun Fukuyama. Yata is the male protagonist of the story, a high school freshman who used to be delusional, believing himself to be the Dark Flame Master, and becoming alienated from everyone as a result. Finding this to be embarrassing, he attempts to erase this past from existence, even choosing to go to a separate high school from all of his junior high school classmates. However, after encountering Rika, his past delusions come back to haunt him. He and Rika eventually become closer and start dating. He and Satoru Shishimiya were classmates in junior high and she was the one who inspired him to become the Dark Flame Master. Rika Takanashi, voiced by Maru Uchida. Rika is the female protagonist of the story, a girl in the same class as Yata who moved in with her older sister who lives above Yata's apartment. She is an intensely delusional girl who believes herself to possess a wicked eye, and as such always wears a medical eye patch and bandages around her left arm, though she has no injuries. Despite being quite attached to Yata, she is cautious of strangers and adopts a battle pose whenever she meets someone for the first time. Her fantasy weapon of choice is a frilly parasol which she wields as a sword. For her delusional operations, she often dresses in a mostly black gothic dress and hose. She is also rather clumsy, often tripping over and forgetting things. The origin of her delusions come from Yata himself, when she saw Yata in his delusional phase at the balcony above Yata's apartment. They eventually become close and develop feelings for one another and start dating, but Rika's delusions keep their relationship from progressing. Satoru Shishimiya, voiced by Juri Nagatsuma. Satoru was Yata's junior high school classmate. Although she considered Yata to be her only true friend, she ended up transferring schools without saying goodbye during their second junior high school year. She transferred to Shinkanobatane's junior high school where they became close. She suffers from delusions and calls herself Sophia Ring SP Saturn 7, and addresses Yata with the nickname Yasha. Satoru is a character from the second light novel and appears in the anime's second season. Yata and Shinka's delusions began with their admiration and mimicry of Satoru's behavior. During her time with Yata in junior high school, she developed feelings for him, but chose to stay as Sophia Ring SP Saturn 7, and the magical devil girl forever. Shinka Nobatani, voiced by Shinichi Akasaki. Shinka is Yata's classmate and class representative, who is also a cheerleader. One of the most popular girls in the class due to her looks, she is generally thought of a kind and gentle girl. The truth, however, is that, much like Yata, she was also a delusional teen who called herself Mori Summer and had also chosen a different high school from her previous classmates to escape her past. When she learns Sani is in possession of the last evidence of her delusional phase, Shinka joins Rika's school club in order to try and retrieve it. When out of the public eye, Shinka shows her true nature to be a bit more bitter and easily irritable, particularly when dealing with Sani. While Yata initially admired her or even had a crush on her, after seeing her true colors, he is disillusioned and becomes friends with Shinka instead. Despite her constant arguments and fights with Sani, Shinka grows to care for her and vice versa. She, like Yata, has more common sense than the other members of the group. Kumin, voiced by Azumi Asakura, an anime original character, Kumin is a carefree girl who is a year above Yata and the others. She loves sleeping and often carrying around a pillow with her wherever she goes. In one extreme case, she is even shown sleeping in a full futon on school grounds. Having been homeschooled before high school, she is very sheltered and conservative, lending her an old-fashioned lady-like demeanor which Makoto finds attractive. Her own nap club is integrated into Rika's social group for lack of members. Out of respect for Rika and Sani, she earnestly attempts to understand their delusional fantasies. She has a tendency to sleep talk. She is also quite fond of cats. Sani D. Kimori, voiced by Sumaya Wasaka, an anime original character, Sani is a third-year junior high student who has very long blonde elastic twin tails that often prove to be more of a hindrance than a help. Like Rika, she is extremely delusional and often indulges in fantasy with her. However, unlike Rika, she is a superb student who is at the top of her class and has already completed the entire junior high mathematics curriculum. She owns several copies of the Magic Spells book, which is the remaining evidence of Shinka's delusional days. She is often at odds with Shinka, who she does not believe to be the real Mori Summer. She often ends her sentences with desu, emphasizing it to make it sound more like death. She is aware that her delusions are nothing more than delusions. She comes from a very rich family and tends to behave normally around her classmates. She later promotes to the high school where Yata and friends are studying. Makoto Ishiki, voiced by Zari Kiraoshi, Makoto is Yata's classmate who sits behind him and often analyzes the other girls in the class. He joins the light music club so he could be with girls and attract their attention by carrying about his guitar, though he does not seem to have learned how to play it. Fond of his thick hair after being forced to wear it short for sports activities for the last 3 years, he is forced to have his head shaved once more when his notebook containing the cutie poll of the girls in his class is discovered. In the anime, he gets a crush on Kumin. Kazari Kaneji, voiced by Manami Shirakawa, Kazari is Yata's classmate from the novels, and the class idol. She was in second place in the ranking of the most beautiful girls in his school, although still remains the center of attention. She had a close relationship with Nabatani in junior high school. Kuzuha Tagashi, voiced by Kaori Fukuera, Kuzuha is Yata's younger sister who is in the first year of junior high school. She is mature for her age. Yumha Tagashi, voiced by Mami Shitara, Yumha is Yata's youngest sister, aged 5. She finds Yata's prior fantasy antics intriguing, often refers to them as cool, and admires or idolizes Rika. Nanae Tsukumo, voiced by Kikuko Inu, Yata and Rika's homeroom teacher, who is often kind, if sometimes a little sadistic in teasing her students, particularly Rika. She is called Nana-chan by Yata and Rika. Taka Takanashi, voiced by Iri Sendai, an anime original character, Taka is Rika's older sister who supports her by working as a chef at a fine restaurant. She often has to put up with her younger sister's delusional antics, often punishing her by whacking her with a ladle. She is also seen to be extremely acrobatic and flexible, which she attributes to being a rhythmic gymnast when she herself was in high school. Rika depicts her sister as a high priestess of evil and accuses Taka of restraining her from her quest to reach the ethereal horizon. She is sometimes seen playing house with Yumha but on a negative outlook where they are always divorcing. Media, light novels, Love, Chunibyo and Other Delusions began as a light novel series written by Torako, with illustrations by Nozomi Oesaka. Torako entered the first novel in the series into the first Kyoto Animation Award contest in 2010, and it won an honorable mention in the novel category. The studio later published the first volume on June 1, 2011. Kyoto Animation has published 3 volumes as of March 14, 2014. Anime. A 12-episode anime television series adaptation, directed by Tatsuya Ishihara and produced by Kyoto Animation, aired in Japan between October 4 and December 19, 2012. Starting before the TV series airing, a series of 6 original net animation shorts titled Love, Chunibyo and Other Delusions Light were streamed weekly on YouTube between September 27 and November 1, 2012. The television series were released on 6BD DVD compilation volumes between December 19, 2012, and May 15, 2013. The volumes also contained bonus shorts titled Depth of Field, Itanikashimi Jekaja. A 7th volume, containing an original video animation episode, another Depth of Field short and the light shorts, was released on June 19, 2013. The series has been licensed in North America by Sentai Filmworks and was streamed on Anime Network. Sentai Filmworks released the series on subtitled DVD in North America on May 27, 2014, followed by an English-dubbed release on DVD and Blu-ray disc later on in the year. The opening theme is Sparkling Daydream by Zack, and the ending theme is Inside Identity by Black Raison Theater. There are also 3 insert songs, Hajimari no Tain by Zack in Episode 8, Kumi no Taneri ni by Zack in Episode 10 and Miyajitga and Yoru no Oshio by Mamoru Uchida in Episode 10. The single for Sparkling Daydream was released on October 24, 2012 and the single for Inside Identity on November 21, 2012. For the light episodes, the opening theme is Kumi-e, and the ending theme is Shikoki ni Odoru Hobushi. Both are sung by Zack. An anime film titled Takanashi Rikakai, Jekajaban ka Nibia Demo Koi ga Shitai, which retells the events of the first anime season from Rika's perspective, was released in Japanese theaters on September 14, 2013, and was later released on Blu-ray disc and DVD on February 19, 2014. A second anime television season, titled Love, Chunibyo and Other Delusions, Heartthrob, aired in Japan from January 8 to March 26, 2014, and was simulcast by Crunchyroll. The opening theme is voiced by Zack and the ending theme is Van Schmanth's World by Black Raison Theater. The first of a second series of light episodes was released on YouTube on December 26, 2013. The ending theme for the light episodes is Shinen ni Mao Senritsu Shanakusai by Zack. The second season has also been licensed by Sentai Filmworks, under the title Love, Chunibyo and Other Delusions Heartthrob. References. External links, light novel official website, anime official website, Love, Chunibyo and Other Delusions at Anime News Network's Encyclopedia.